The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue, on your new fire apparatus, job number 35732. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start just at the front bumper, where you'll find on the face of the front bumper your electronic siren. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find dual air horns. As we move to the driver's side, you'll find a mechanical siren. Moving up onto the bumper extension, you'll find 2 tow hooks located on the front. These are attachment points. Moving further up onto the face, you'll find on the outer edges a marker turn indicator light. Just inside of that location, your turn indicator. And on the inside, your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Moving just up from that, right and left side emergency warning lights, and on the outer edge of the passenger side, you'll find a side-facing camera. As we move further up onto the lower section below the windshield, you'll find 2 grab handles for gaining access to the windshield area. Just above that, you'll find your windshield wiper blade, and on the outer edge, you'll find a mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. On the passenger side, you'll also find an oval-style convex mirror for downward facing. As we move up to the ladder itself on the bucket, you'll find clearance lights located on the lower section. Moving up, your Opticom system. Emergency warning lights, there are 3, 2 on the outer edge and 1 in the center. Moving directly in the center, your large diameter master stream device, and then all the way up to the very top, you'll find a floodlight. On the outer edges, the protruding life bracket is in the very top section. Let's go ahead and move now to the side of the vehicle. We'll start with the driver's side, just a quick view of the entire vehicle. We'll focus in now on the cab specific area. Let's start down at the very front bumper area, where you'll find a emergency warning light. This is on the bumper extension. Moving up from that location, you'll find the turn indicator. Right behind that is the marker light. Your logo TVF&R. Just next to that, you'll find 2 paddle latches for gaining access. They are keyed locks. And then also grab handles for gaining access in and out of the cab for personnel. You'll also find at the very rear section an emergency warning light. This is part of your lower emergency warning lights. As we move up to the very top, just over the operator area, is where you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Let's move down to the wheel and tire, Alcoa wheel, Michelin tires, and also a sight gauge located in the center. As we move to the body itself, we'll first start at the very front section with 2 folding wheel chocks. As we move toward the rear of the apparatus, you'll find your diesel exhaust. Moving up from that location of the exhaust, you'll also find a warning label, placard indicating extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures, marker light, and then also 3 lower emergency warning lights. As we move directly behind the rear axle, near the diesel fill location, is where you'll find a cornering light. Also, you'll find the diesel fill location, silver cap. As we move up to the very top, you'll find 2 side-facing floodlights on the upper portion of the body, and then also an electric cord reel. Moving down to the rear, just behind the rear axle, lower section is where you'll find your 2 stabilizer pads for the driver's side. Let's move down to the rear of the apparatus, license plate holder with light. As we move to the outer edges, you'll find 2 rubber indicator lamps. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find your emergency light, brake, turn, and reverse light combination. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find 2 tow hooks protruding. As we move just inside of that location toward the center, you'll find your large diameter aerial inlet and also an aerial inlet gauge. Right next to that, you'll find an inclinometer. This is for left to right. And then also a pan door gaining access into the aerial drain location, where there is a 1.5-inch ball valve. As we move up, you'll find some light control switches located in the left side of the vehicle. As we move up, you'll find rear-facing lights, and then at the very top section, you'll find emergency warning lights.
As we move toward the center, you'll find your traffic advisor, and then directly in the center, just slightly above the traffic advisor, is where you'll find your backup camera. Let's go ahead and move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle. The layout and configuration is virtually the same on this side with all of the items. So we'll move now to the body section, same configuration and layout, and then we'll move to the cab section, same configuration and layout except for the air inlet for your engine, and then also in the front section A-pillar is where you'll find the side-facing camera. Let's take a look with all compartment doors in the open position. This is going to be the passenger side, and we'll move around now to the driver's side. Let's go ahead and move around now to the front section of the cab where the operator is. First, let's take a look at the door panel where you'll find affixed to the door panel all of our safety and warning information placard. Just above that, you'll find a grab handle, door lock latch, window control. As we move to the step well, you'll find your air inlet, and currently this is a temporary until items are sourced from Pierce. This is for your shoreline inlet. Let's move just above the seat area where you'll find affixed to the seat pedestal this placard for Tualatin Valley Fire. It has the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, your VIN number, and all of the components, fluid capacities, and fluid types. As we move down to the floorboard, you'll find a foot pedal for the mechanical siren. Just about the left knee of the operator is where you'll find your master battery switch. It's the red quarter turn. Just beneath that, you'll find the regen inhibit switch, ABS diagnostic switch, and to the right, you'll find the engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port, and then just to the right, you'll find a display port. As we move down to the very bottom, you'll find the DPF regen switch. And then moving all the way to the very far right side, you'll find the tech module. This is for your service team. Let's go ahead and move up from this location to the dash area. We'll identify a few items within the dash cluster. First, starting on the left, you'll find your four-way flasher or hazard lights. Just beneath that, the start and ignition switch. As we move just to the right of that location, you'll find a switch labeled EM, stands for Emergency Master. It will engage or disengage all emergency lights with one button. To the right, headlight switch and panel switch allow you to brighten and dim lights within preview of the operator. On the far right, high idle, okay to engage the high idle switch. Moving to the left, you'll find the transmission oil, DEF level, and water temperature gauges. On the right, you'll find the volts, fuel, front, and rear air. In the center, you have a tachometer and also a speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and also below the speedometer. Let's move just down to the lower right corner of the image where you'll find the rear axle differential lock. There is an air switch and also an indicator, difficult to see in this image, right knee of the operator. General view here just to the right of the operator. Let's start first with the system parking brake, pull to apply and push to release. Just to the right, you'll find your turbo boost PSI indicator gauge. And then as we move further to the right, you'll find the command zone. Tremendous amount of information here. It's a touch screen, and then also it has activation buttons just below. See your owner's manual for more information. At the top, you'll find your aerial master, aerial PTO, platform leveling, and stabilizer scene switches. As we move down, there are two switches on the outer edge. We have generator PTO, and on the far right, you have fog lights. There are two switches in between, which are future switches if you need them. As we move further down, we have an engine brake on and off setting switch for low, medium, and high for that engine brake, mirror heat, and off-road traction. We also have some caution information placards and also warning information placards. Please familiarize yourself with these. Let's move just to the right of this location where you'll find the flat and convex mirror controls for the passenger and driver side. As we move to the very front, you'll find your exhaust temperature. This is a gauge. Just beneath that, you'll also find a USB style 12-volt power supply. We have a placard for your generator operating instructions, and then to the right, you'll find your Whelen traffic advisor. Just beneath that, you'll find all of your window controls for the front section of the cab and also rear. At the very bottom, you'll find climate control, heat and defrost, and then also air conditioning. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those individually. We'll start at the very top with the Whelen traffic advisor. It has a power, function, and direction indicator. As we move further down, you'll find driver's side and passenger side, front cab and rear cab switches for your window controls, and then also, once again, climate control, heat defrost, heat and air conditioning. Let's go ahead and take a general look overhead of the operator's position. We'll talk about some of these switches, first starting with the emergency master, roof light, front warning light, and side warning. The next section down, you'll find the lower rear warning, upper rear warning, high beam flash, and a future switch. As we move just to the right of this location over the operator's space, you'll find a few more switches, first starting on the left with the Opticom, white light cancel, air horn, and load manager. We have a siren brake for your E2QB, that is your mechanical siren on the front bumper, and also some future switch locations. What I would like to point out is when a switch is engaged, you'll see the green indicator illuminating around the outer edge of the switch, indicating that it's on. As we move to the right, you'll find driver's scene, visor scene, passenger scene, front basket lights, perimeter lighting, rear scene, and cornering scene. Let's move further to the right. We do have a yellow placard here. This will help with the operator's understanding of the vehicle itself. We do have the height 11 feet 8.5 inches, length 46 9.13 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 76,800 pounds. This also has the 5-digit job number. To the right, seatbelt information center, red indicating someone is in the seat, not belted, green indicating they are in the seat and belted. Directly in the center, you'll have a red indicator, do not move your apparatus if this light is on, indicating you have a compartment door open or ajar. Behind the rear seat of the operator, you'll find a speaker. This is for your backup camera. There is volume control on the face of that speaker. When plugged into shore power, your 2 outlets in the rear will work or on generated power. There is a large breaker box that's to control the breaker for the refrigerator. As we move now to the rear section of the cab, let's first start with the door panel. Once again, affixed to the door panel, all of our safety and warning information placard, door lock and latch, and also window control and a grab handle. As we move inside, you'll find your refrigerator located just inside of the door. As we move to the rear seat area, once again, the gray box with the breaker, that is to control the refrigerator switch breaker panel. You also have shoreline and generator outlets located in the rear. They're clearly identified and marked. At the rear, you'll find your oil and transmission daily checks. As we move around town to the compartments, we'll start down at the very bottom. Front section of the body, you'll find your folding wheel chocks. You'll also find a pull-out and drop-down step. As we move into the actual compartment itself, you'll find on the vertical surface, you'll find the generator power and electrical breaker box. As we move down, you'll find a pull-out tray, the release mechanism located on the lower right. You'll also find grab the cable that spans across the very front. That is your access for releasing the lock mechanisms for the 2 upper portion pull-out trays. At the very top, we have additional storage D-handles giving us access into those locations. Let's go ahead and go back to that vertical surface now where you'll see the generator control, also on and off switch, and also operating instructions, along with your amps for line 1 and line 2 and frequency. Let's go ahead and move to the next compartment where you'll find those trays in the pulled out and downward position. That is the top tray. As we move to the next tray down, this is a full width tray that goes all the way across. And then at the very bottom, you have a pull-out tray. Once again, release mechanism located on the right. Just under this area is where you're going to find the folding wheel chocks and then also your pull-out step. Let's go ahead and move to the very top. What I'd like to point out is in your compartments, you do have an air recirculating system. This is the tube that delivers that air to those locations. Warning information regarding fall hazard, always face the vehicle while climbing on it, and also your vehicle is a non-insulated, so therefore electrocution could occur if contact. To the right, this is your hydraulic stabilizer. There is the possibility of a crush injury, and that's why we have a warning placard here. As we move to the very top, we do have for your stabilizer an independent light that will illuminate the area for it for operational setup. Also to the right, you'll find a side-facing LED floodlight. As we move down to the compartment itself, as you move just about mid-compartment is where you'll find this push-button switch. This happens to control the cord reel wind, which happens to be a 30-amp, 200-foot cord reel. There's also a shoreline and generator outlet located within inside this compartment. As we move to the next compartment down just below, you're going to find SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps. And then also when we look inside the compartments, you'll find additional shoreline and generated outlets. This is the location for your DEF tank. You do have a 4.5 US gallon blue cap DEF fill location. As we move from this, let's go down to the rear axle where you'll find Michelin tires and Alcoa wheels. You'll also find your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Please be cautious where you park your vehicle. In between the two axles, you'll find SCBA bottle storage, once again with retaining straps, and then also an outlet. Let's go ahead and move to the next compartment upward, where you'll find that air ventilation circulation system located within this area. Ultra low sulfur diesel. It is the silver cap. As we move to the rear axle, you'll also find just at the very bottom of the compartment your storage location for your stabilizer platforms. Also, warning label, once again, because this is the stabilizer, there is the possibility of a crush injury. As we move to the area in between the ladder to gain access to go aloft, you'll find front to back inclinometer indicating red from 0 to 5, and then also from 8 to 15 in the red area. Also a warning, always face the vehicle while climbing onto it. We're now to the rear section of the apparatus. Let's take a look at some of the compartments. First, I'd like to start out with some danger information. Once again, the platform is not insulated, therefore as the opportunity arises for danger regarding contact with electrical lines. Also, never ride on the vehicle while it is in motion. You have driver's side, rear scene, and passenger side floodlights. You also have a warning inside the compartment here for, regarding stabilizer stability hazard, because if you short jack on one side, there is the possibility of the aerial device tipping. As we move to the very top, you'll have an emergency stop, override, power for your stabilizer indicator, and then also a diagnostic USB interface. Down at the very bottom is the control for each individual stabilizer. And then as you can see, they've got a piece of blue tape located here from the maintenance team here from Pierce that says to properly store face down and then pack in the cord. It is a tethered control module. As we move to the rear, you'll also find two placards here. This is going to be for direct pull on your rear attachment on the passenger and driver side. Also a warning placard here regarding caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. The American flag Eagle Pierce logo. This is going to be your large diameter aerial inlet. And then just to the right, you have an inclinometer right to left for this side of the vehicle. And then also at the very top section, you'll find an aerial inlet gauge. Inside the pan door is going to be the aerial drain. It's an 1.5-inch ball valve located inside. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear section where the ladders are stored. They're located inside the torque box. As we look to the outer edges of each side of the ladder compartment storage area is where you'll find a 10-foot, a 35-foot, and a 24-foot two-section ladder. On the opposite side, we've got a 14, 16, 20, and 20-foot wall ladder. Let's go ahead and take a look around to the passenger side of the vehicle. Same configuration, and you're going to find some of those same warning placards here also. Warning regarding crush injury hazard. This is the stabilizer and the movement of that stabilizer. As we move to the very rear compartment, you'll find a pull-out tray in the upper portion and fixed and also dry deck material inside each of those compartments and LED lighting. Let's go ahead and move now to the forward compartment where you'll find your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. Located inside the compartment on the vertical surface, you'll find shoreline and generator outlets. Ultra low sulfur diesel. We do have a caution placard also affixed to the rear side of the pan door indicating ultra low sulfur diesel fuel only. As we move forward to this location toward the front of the truck, you'll find a outlet and also two SCBA bottle storage location. Just inside, you'll find straps for securing those bottles while in movement. As we move to the rear axle, you'll find Michelin tires and Alcoa wheels. Let's go back up to the top section where you'll find a through compartment, and then also in that compartment you'll find generated and shoreline outlets. Let's go ahead and move just to the rear section of the, or forward section of the apparatus. This is the marker light and also SCBA bottle storage location. As we move forward of this compartment, you'll find pull-out tray at the very top section, and then two adjustable fixed trays, three fixed trays just beneath that, and then also shoreline generated outlets within this compartment. On the release mechanism, on the far right-hand side will be a lock and also release. There's also the cord reel rewind, once again a 200-volt cord reel. Also inside this compartment, you'll find 12-volt access via USB. At the very top section of the compartment, lift and turn latches, also an indicator for fall injury. Always face the vehicle while climbing on it. As you can see, once again, on the passenger side, this is the ventilation system and that tube running through all of those compartments. As we move to the stabilizer, once again, non-insulated ladder. And then we move to the right on the stabilizer itself. That's where you're going to find the crush injury hazard placard. As we move to the top, you have complete through access 2D handles on the top section. As we move inside the compartment, this is the ventilation fan. And then just to the right of it, you'll find your electronic power supply. This is a Pronodic 1260 for enhanced electrical battery charging. As we move back to those compartments, same configuration. The upper compartment does have the pull out and tilt downward. The middle one is a full right side to left side through compartment. And at the very bottom section, we have a pull-out tray. Release mechanism for that one is on the lower right-hand side. Let's go ahead and take a look at the warm water rinse station. There is an informational placard and instruction sheet at the very top. And then the gray area is going to be your configuration zone for on and off, and then also turning on the pump and heat. At the very bottom section, this is going to be your outlet area. As we move directly under this space, you'll find the decontamination drain. It's a lift for draining the water. Also right next to this is going to be your wheel chocks and also folding pull-out step. Close up here of the wheel chock area, what I wanted to point out is just in front of that is the decontamination refill location. This is where you'll supply water. As we move now to the cab section, passenger side, let's go ahead and go inside the cab area. Once again, affixed to the door panel, we're going to find all of our safety and warning information placards, electric window control, door lock, and latch. As we move inside overhead, you'll find push on and off either white or red lens, and then also high intensity lights for map reading. 2 fold down seats on the outer edges, 1 in the center section. As we move to the rear engine area, you'll find a netting section for EMS or compartment storage. As we move forward to that, inside that space, you're going to find 12 volt via USB and also barrel style. Let's go ahead and move exterior now. In between the rear and front door, over the front axle is where you'll find your air inlet. Lift and turn latch gets you access into the filter space. As we move now into the officer space, first let's start with the door panel, informational placards, door lock and latch, electric window, and also electric door locks. In the step-well area, lift and turn latch gains you access to the cab lift area. We do have a lower and raise indicator and also an activate switch. If you choose to use the remote cable, you can. It plugs into where the black location is for the receiver. And then also we have some danger and also caution placard information. Make sure everything is secure with inside the cab. As we move inside, you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal. You'll also find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. And then just above that space, paddle latch gains you access into the glove boxed area. As we look to the left of the officer seat, you're going to find 12 volt USB style access power points, mechanical siren, and an air horn switch. Those are the 2 red buttons. And as we move all the way to the forward section, we have a vehicle data recorder, and that is a USB outlet. Let's go ahead and look overhead where you'll find push on and off red or white lenses. And then as we move to the dash area, you'll also find your siren control and PA speaker. Let's go ahead and go to the pedestal now. At the rear section of the pedestal, you'll find an access door. Lift and turn latch gains you access into this area. This is going to be for your aerial device manual controls. These are the diverters for extend, retract, right and left, up and down. We also have a tipping hazard. If you're gaining access into those controls, you should be aware of that. At the pedestal itself, you'll find lift and turn latches gain you access to the pedestal area for controls. And then also you have a direct plug-in location here for SCBA breathing air. Also an audible alarm, that is the black round circle located on the outer edge of the pedestal. We do have some placards here regarding if you short jack the ladder for tip and also electrocution hazard. In the forward section is where you'll find your communications for the person at the tip of the ladder. That's your intercom system. Just a general view here. Let's start back with the intercom system. It is passive for the person at the top. We have volume control and also push to talk. Let's go to the control module. First, in the upper left, you'll find your stop. This is an emergency push button. To the right, you'll find the manual basket leveling disable. And as we move down, you'll find a generator on and off, the ability to start that generator from the pedestal with a green indicator indicating that it is on or off. You'll also find light controls, and then at the very bottom on the far left, you're going to find an aerial speed for slow, normal, or fast. And then as we move to the right, you'll find the emergency hydraulic power. This will engage the APU. Just to the right, you'll find the Pierce command zone. Once again, tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips and on this screen. Let's move downward. First, let's start at the very top. You have a deploy and stow. This is for your nozzle control. As we move down, we have stream, fog, left, right, raise, and lower. As we move to the right, you'll find your ladder control for extend, retract, right and left, and lower and raise. As we move to the lid, you'll find your 100-foot steel aerial platform load chart. This is important for your waterway when it is dry, no water, or waterway charged with water. Those are the actual numbers for weight capacities. Also, you'll find your monitor nozzle position and its limitation. And then at the very bottom, you'll point out these capabilities. I would like to point out for icy conditions, there is asterisk information for that information itself. As we move down, you'll find warning and also danger information placards regarding your aerial device. Please familiarize yourself with these. As we move to the rear, this is a 3-section ladder. In the center section, you'll have a 16-foot straight ladder. On the outer edges, there is walking space. What I would like to point out on the walking space, it's the diamond-plated area for the walking space. There are areas that are a non-walking surface, and they'll be placarded with this non-walking surface placard. Let's go ahead and move all the way to the front section of the bucket. On the rear of the bucket is where you'll find 2 lights. These are telescoping. You'll also find just in front of that a storage location and also storage location for your chainsaw scabbard. As we move to the left side is where you're going to find your storage location for equipment or tools or masks. And then also you'll find these locking locations for personnel safety. We also have a load chart for waterway dry and waterway charged and the nozzle position limiting factors. Just beneath that, you'll find an air supply for your SCBA air. And then also on the far right-hand side, you'll find once again warning, danger, placards located on the side. Once again, 2 locations at the forward section for attachment points for safety personnel. These are going to be the release mechanisms to open the 2 front doors to gain access out of the bucket area. You do have power located at the very top. This is an outlet. As we move to the controls, you have ladder control for extend, retract, right, left, and lower and raise. There is also an additional SCBA outlet here. And then just above that, you'll find an audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel does allow you to dampen the sound. And as we move all the way to the top, you're going to find nozzle control. There's 3 switches located at the top section, and then also all of your light and PTO information for your generator. As we move up to the top, same red button at the very top. This is the emergency stop. It is a simple push button. Just beneath that, you'll have aerial speed, slow, normal, and fast, and then also your manual leveling for your bucket. As we move to the right, normally this cover would be closed. To gain access, just simply turn and lift the panel area, which gains access into the Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. You can use either a gloved hand or touch screen also. At the very top section, you have the straps for your aerial basket and life system. Also information here regarding warning and placard regarding the life ladder system. Also your passive intercom system with volume control. Master stream located on the front with the ability to turn on or off. And then also a discharge location here at the very passenger and driver side for workable hand lines. General view here, forward and reverse of the ladder area, passenger and driver side I should say. And then I have a short video for you to watch regarding your emergency warning lights. This is back at the Pierce factory. Thank you for taking the time to listen to your orientation video for Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue, job number 35732. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales associate.